A 25-cent coin worth $180,000 plus? This 1976 Bicentennial Quarter may hide one shocking mistake. Check yours before it's too late. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter is a perfect example of why coin hunting isn't always about finding an old coin. Sometimes, the real excitement comes from taking a modern coin that looks completely ordinary and asking one simple question. What makes this particular piece different? This quarter was released in 1999 as part of the first year of the U.S. 50-state quarters program. Connecticut was the fifth state honored in the series, and its reverse features one of the state's most famous symbols, the charter oak. Look at the design for a moment. The massive oak tree dominates the reverse, with Connecticut displayed above it. United States of America around the upper edge, $quarter below, and E pluribus unum completing the design. Your coin carries a D mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Denver Mint. And that's where our investigation gets interesting. Instead of immediately searching for a giant error, approach this quarter like a detective examining evidence. Start with the obverse. George Washington appears on the front, surrounded by Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the date 1999, and the mint mark. Take your time with the lettering. Look at the date first. Don't just ask whether the numbers look strange. Look for signs of genuine doubling, unusual raised metal, cracks extending from the design, or areas where the strike appears dramatically different from a normal coin. Now focus on the D. This tiny letter is easy to ignore, but can tell you whether you're looking at the correct issue. Compare its shape and position with another 1999 D Connecticut quarter. If the mint mark appears damaged, flattened, or scratched, don't automatically call an error. Post-mint damage is incredibly common. That's an important distinction when searching modern coins. A real mint error is created during production. Damage happens afterward. The two can sometimes look surprisingly similar. Now flip the quarter over. This is where the Connecticut design gives you something much more interesting to investigate. Look closely at the charter oak. Start at the trunk. Move upward through the branches. Examine the leaves. Then study the lettering surrounding the tree. This is not a coin you should inspect from 3 feet away. Put it under good lighting and rotate it slowly. Watch how the light moves across the raised surfaces. Sometimes a feature that looks like a scratch under one angle can disappear completely when the coin is rotated. A genuine raised characteristic, however, may remain connected to the design. Here's another useful trick. Compare your coin with a normal example. You don't need an expensive collection for this. If you can find another 1999 Connecticut quarter, place both coins side by side. Compare the charter oak branch by branch. Look at the same letters. Compare the date and the mint mark. This side-by-side method can reveal differences that are surprisingly difficult to notice when looking at only one coin. Now inspect the rim. Look for an unusually broad edge, an incomplete rim, a dramatic shift in the design, or a section where the strike appears abnormal. An off-center strike, for example, can be immediately interesting when the displacement is significant and clearly occurred during striking. But again, don't confuse damage with an error. A quarter dropped on concrete can develop a flattened edge. A coin hit by another object can develop a strange rim. Collectors want evidence that the mint created the feature. There's another test you can perform at home. Weigh the coin. A standard-clad Washington quarter weighs approximately 5.67 grams. Use a reasonably accurate digital scale and compare your Connecticut quarter with another normal quarter. If the weight is significantly different, check the scale first. Then check the coin again. A strange weight combined with a genuine-looking striking anomaly is much more interesting than an unusual weight by itself. Now think about condition. The 1999 Connecticut quarter is not ancient, but finding one with exceptionally sharp details and minimal marks can still make a difference to collectors. Look at Washington's cheek and hair. Check the fields around the portrait. On the reverse, inspect the open areas around the charter oak. Coins with heavy scratches, contact marks, dull surfaces, and circulation where generally won't attract the same attention as coins preserved in exceptional condition. This is where grading becomes important. If you believe your quarter contains a legitimate mint error or recognized variety, professional authentication can help determine exactly what you're dealing with. A certified coin has far more credibility than an online photograph accompanied by an enormous price claim. And that brings us to the number associated with this coin. The provided potential price figure reaches $77,700 plus. But don't misunderstand what that means. A normal 1999 Connecticut quarter is not automatically a $77,700 coin. Most ordinary examples are worth only a small premium, if any, over face value, depending on condition and collector demand. The extraordinary figures belong to exceptional circumstances, such as a genuinely rare mint error, unusual planchet, dramatic striking mistake, recognized variety, or an exceptionally preserved certified specimen. So if you have one, don't start with the price. Start with the evidence. Check the D. Study the date. Examine Washington's portrait. Then turn the coin over and investigate the charter oak. Look between the branches. Study the leaves. Inspect the lettering. Check the rim. Weigh it. And compare it against another 1999 Connecticut quarter. If you discover something unusual, preserve the coin exactly as it is. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't scratch it. Don't put chemicals on it. A coin's original surface can be extremely important when determining its authenticity and condition. The complete provided price range for this 1999 Connecticut State Quarter is $77,700 plus. That should be viewed as an exceptional potential figure for a truly extraordinary and verified specimen, not the normal value of an everyday Connecticut quarter. And perhaps that's the best part of modern coin collecting. You don't need to own an ancient treasure to have something worth investigating. A quarter that has passed through thousands of hands can still contain a tiny clue that most people never noticed. So the next time a 1999 Connecticut quarter appears in your change, don't immediately throw it into the spending pile. Turn it over. Slow down. Study the tree. Because sometimes the difference between ordinary pocket change and a serious collector discovery is hidden in a detail so small that almost everyone walks right past it. The 2000p Maryland State Quarter is the kind of coin that can teach you an important lesson about collecting. A coin doesn't have to look old to deserve a second look. Take a normal quarter from your pocket and place it beside a 2000 Maryland quarter. At first, there may not seem to be anything extraordinary about it. It's a familiar Washington quarter, part of the 50 State Quarter series, and it carries a design millions of people have seen. But now forget the value for a moment. We're going to inspect this coin from the outside in, starting with the one feature that gives Maryland its identity. Turn the quarter over. There it is, the Maryland State House, surrounded by the inscriptions Maryland, United States of America, quarter dollar, and E pluribus unum. This design was released in 2000 as part of the 50 State Quarters program, and your P Mint mark tells us that this particular coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That small P deserves attention. Not because every 2000 P quarter with a P is rare. It isn't. But because when you're searching for a potential mint error, tiny details can become evidence. Start by examining the mint mark under magnification. Look around the P. Is the surrounding metal unusually raised? Does the letter appear doubled? Is there an unusual die crack or distortion nearby? Now stop. Before calling it an error, compare it with another normal 2000p Maryland quarter. That's one of the most useful habits a collector can develop. Comparison beats guesswork. A scratch can look like doubling. A dent can look like a striking problem. And circulation damage can make a perfectly normal mint mark look strange. So instead of asking whether the coin looks unusual, ask whether the unusual feature appears to be part of the original strike. Move upward to the date. Look at the 2, the zeros, and the final 0. Use a light source from different angles. If you suspect doubling, examine the edges of the digits rather than the shadows around them. Then move across Liberty. Study the letters individually. Check I in God We Trust. Look around Washington's portrait. You're searching for characteristics that are raised, consistent, and connected to the coin's original design. Now let's turn our attention back to the Maryland reverse. The State House is packed with details. Look at the dome. Examine the columns. Study the surrounding architectural features. Then inspect the lettering. Here's where patience can make a difference. Don't stare at the entire reverse at once. Break it into small areas and inspect them one at a time. If you see an unusual line, ask yourself where it begins and where it ends. Does it interrupt the design? Does it appear raised? Does it continue naturally across another part of the coin? Or does it look like a scratch sitting on top of the surface? That distinction matters. A genuine mint error should have a logical relationship with the striking process. Now check the rim. A significant off-center strike can sometimes be visually obvious, while other mint-made abnormalities may be much more subtle. Look for unusual thickness, a distorted rim, missing design near the edge, or a broad area where the normal border appears different. But again, don't confuse damage with a mint error. A quarter can get hit, squeezed, scraped, or bent after it leaves the mint. Collectors aren't simply looking for strange coins. They're looking for mint-made strange coins. There's another test that costs almost nothing. Weigh it. A standard-clad Washington quarter from this period should weigh approximately 5.67 grams. Use a digital scale and compare the Maryland quarter with another normal quarter. A tiny difference isn't automatically meaningful. Scales have tolerances, and coins accumulate dirt and wear. But a significant difference, especially when combined with a visible striking anomaly, deserves a closer investigation. Now consider condition. The 2000 Maryland quarter isn't nearly as old as a classic wheat penny. So many examples can still be found in circulation. That makes preservation particularly important. Look across Washington's cheek. Check the open fields. Look for scratches, contact marks, dull surfaces, and heavy wear. Then inspect the Maryland State House for sharp architectural detail. A coin with strong detail and minimal surface damage can attract more collector attention than a heavily circulated example. If you believe you found something genuinely unusual, professional grading and authentication can become extremely important. Why? Because there's a huge difference between saying, "I think this is an error," and having an established grading service verify the characteristic. That distinction can dramatically affect collector confidence and market value. And now we reach the figure that makes this particular coin worth investigating. The provided potential value for the 2000p Maryland State quarter reaches $89,000 plus. But don't look at that number and assume every Maryland quarter is valuable. A normal 2000p Maryland quarter is generally worth far less than an exceptional specimen. The extraordinary figures are associated with unusual circumstances, such as a genuine mint error, an extremely rare variety, a significant striking problem, unusual planchet characteristics, or exceptional certified condition. So the value isn't sitting automatically in the date. It's sitting in the details. Check the P. Check the date. Inspect Washington. Study Liberty. Look closely at I In God We Trust. Then turn the coin over and investigate the Maryland State House. Examine the dome. Inspect the columns. Study the lettering. Check the rim. And finally, weigh the coin. If something doesn't look right, don't alter it. No cleaning. No polishing. No scraping. No chemicals. Keep the coin exactly as you found it. The original surface can be part of the evidence. The complete provided price range for this 2000p Maryland State quarter is $89,000 plus. That's an exceptional potential figure for a truly extraordinary and verified specimen, not the expected value of an ordinary circulated Maryland quarter. And that's what makes state quarter hunting so interesting. The coin doesn't need to announce that it's special. It can sit quietly in a drawer. It can pass from one person to another. It can look almost identical to millions of other quarters, until someone finally stops, picks it up, and examines the details. So if you find a 2000p Maryland quarter, don't automatically spend it. Give it a closer look. Because the real discovery isn't always obvious from the first glance. Sometimes you have to turn the coin over, slow everything down, and let the evidence reveal the story. This coin doesn't belong in the same category as the ordinary state quarters we've been examining. It carries a date that immediately tells a story, 1776 to 1976. For a moment, Forget the price and look at what you're actually holding. This is the U.S. Bicentennial Quarter, created to celebrate 200 years of American independence. Instead of using the standard eagle reverse found on regular Washington quarters, this special design features a colonial drummer with a torch and 13 stars representing the original colonies. And that makes this quarter instantly recognizable. But here's where the investigation becomes interesting. Your coin carries a P mint mark, identifying the Philadelphia Mint. Don't assume that the P itself makes the coin rare. Millions of bicentennial quarters were produced, so a normal 1776 to 1976 P quarter is not automatically valuable. The real question is much more interesting. What, if anything, happened to this particular coin during production? Start with the date. Look carefully at 1776 to 1976. The dual date is one of the most unusual features of this issue, and it's also one of the first places you should inspect when searching for abnormalities. Use a magnifying glass and rotate the coin under a bright light. You're looking for genuine mint-made characteristics, possible doubling, unusual raised metal, die cracks, distorted lettering, or other abnormalities that appear to be part of the original strike. If something looks like a scratch sitting across the numbers, be careful. A scratch is damage. A genuine mint error is different. That distinction can mean everything when you're trying to determine whether a coin deserves professional attention. Now move toward the word liberty. Study the edges of the letters. Then look at I in God we trust. Don't rush through these areas. Compare the shapes with another normal bicentennial quarter. A side-by-side comparison can reveal differences that are almost impossible to recognize when you're examining only one coin. Now turn the quarter over. This is where the coin really changes character. The drummer stands at the center of the design, holding a drumstick with a torch and stars surrounding him. Above the design is United States of America, while quarter dollar appears below. Take a slow look at the drummer. Inspect the drum. Look at the hands. Study the lettering. Then examine the stars. You're searching for something that looks unusual because of the striking process, not because someone damaged the coin afterward. Here's a useful test. Find another 1776 to 1976 P bicentennial quarter and place it directly beside your coin. Compare the drummer. Compare the stars. Compare the lettering. Compare the rim. If your coin has an unusual feature that appears consistently in the same location and seems to be part of the metal itself. Now let's talk about something collectors often forget, the edge. Turn the quarter sideways. Look at the reeded edge. Check whether the edge appears normal in thickness and structure. If you see an unusual broad area, missing reeds, or another dramatic production-related characteristic, document it carefully. But don't confuse a damaged edge with a mint error. Coins have spent decades being dropped, squeezed, scratched, and struck against other objects. The goal isn't to find something strange. The goal is to find something strange that the mint created. There's another simple test you can perform at home. Weigh the coin. A standard clad bicentennial quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams, while the 1976's 40% silver versions have a different composition and weight. Since we're specifically looking at a P mint example, checking the weight can help you determine whether something unusual may be going on. If your scale shows a significant difference, repeat the measurement with a reliable scale and compare it against another normal clad quarter. A strange weight alone doesn't prove an error, but a strange weight combined with an obvious minting abnormality, that's much more interesting. Now, consider condition. Because bicentennial quarters were produced in enormous quantities, ordinary circulated examples are generally easy to find. Scratches, contact marks, dull surfaces, and worn details can dramatically reduce collector appeal. On the other hand, an exceptionally preserved coin with sharp details, clean fields, and strong original surfaces can attract much more attention. And if you believe your quarter contains a genuine mint error, professional authentication becomes extremely important. A certified opinion can help distinguish an actual mint-made error from damage, post-mint alteration, or a normal characteristic. This is especially important when you're dealing with a potentially high-value coin. And now we can finally discuss the figure that makes this particular bicentennial quarter worth investigating. The provided potential price reaches $180,000 plus. But don't make the mistake of thinking every 1776 to 1976 p quarter is worth anything remotely close to that. It isn't. A normal bicentennial quarter is generally worth far less. The extraordinary values are associated with exceptional circumstances, such as a genuinely rare mint error, unusual planchet, dramatic striking mistake, recognized variety, or an exceptionally preserved certified specimen. So the price isn't hiding in the date alone. It's hiding in the combination of the coin's characteristics. Check the P mint mark. Study the dual date. Inspect liberty. Examine Iron God We Trust. Turn the coin over. Study the drummer. Look at the torch and stars. Inspect the lettering. Check the rim and edge. Then weigh the coin. And if something genuinely doesn't look right, don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't scratch it. Don't use chemicals. Preserve it exactly as you found it, because once you alter the surface, you could destroy important evidence about what happened to the coin. The complete provided price range for this 1776 to 1976 p US bicentennial quarter is $180,000 plus. That should be understood as an exceptional potential figure for a truly extraordinary and verified specimen, not the normal value of an everyday bicentennial quarter. And perhaps that's what makes this coin more exciting than an ordinary old quarter. It isn't simply a piece of pocket change. It represents America's 200th anniversary. It carries a completely different reverse design. And somewhere among the millions produced, unusual examples can become the focus of serious collector interest. So if you have a 1776 to 1976 quarter with a P mint mark sitting in a drawer, collection, or old coin jar, don't just glance at it and put it away. Turn it over. Slow down. Inspect the drummer. Study the date. And look for the detail that shouldn't be there. Because with coins like this, the biggest discovery isn't always sitting in plain sight. Sometimes you have to know exactly where to look.